This episode contains discussions of drug addiction and recovery, mental health issues, and the breakdown of a relationship. Listen at your own discretion. It is Friday, the 31st of May, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. So we're in the latter half of boygenius week here, so now we've looped back around to Julien Baker. On Tuesday we talked about a song from her first album, but today we're going to talk about a song from her second album, and would you believe it, it's the second track on her second album, again. Her second album is called Turn Out the Lights. It was released in 2017, and the song we're talking about is Appointments. Now, I already explained in the previous episode about Julien's background and general subject matter, and this song is no exception. I don't know if I need to full-on put a trigger warning in. You'll know if I do, because I'll have edited it in, but it does deal with themes of like mental health and drug addiction and stuff, so I'm just telling you that up front. Because I've already told you about Julien as a person, I think we can just go ahead and listen to the song. I recommend watching the video. I enjoy the video, and it gets the themes across well, but you don't have to, of course. I'm not your mom. I can't tell you what to do. But yeah, so we're going to go listen to it now and come back in a few minutes and talk about it. Oh, that song gets me every time. Yeah, so first thing I want to point out before we start talking about the lyrics, musically, it's interesting the progression from her first to her second album, because as I said, her first album is largely reverbed guitar and vocals, or piano and vocals, and that's about it. This song is just reverbed guitar and piano and vocals, but there's more fullness to the sound because the guitar and the piano are playing at the same time. There's more layers to the vocals. She's kind of harmonizing with herself. It's a really nice, rich sound and a really logical progression to her first album, and I really like it. So let's talk about the song itself. It's kind of about the breakdown of a relationship due to either mental health issues or drug addiction. Drug addiction is itself sort of a mental health issue. So I don't think it's necessarily important which one it's intended to be, because it can be both. There's just different things that work for different things. And, you know, the person, the narrator, who is presumably Julien, because she has struggled with mental health issues and drug addiction, she clearly wants to try and be better, but she just doesn't see the point. She's in this pessimistic hole. She's finding it hard to dig up from there, and it's a very relatable concept when you feel yourself stuck in that way and you know that you want it to be better and you know that you can do better, but it's hard to do that. It's just simply hard to do that. That's as simple as it is. So the lyrics. I'm staying in tonight. I won't stop you from leaving. I know that I'm not what you wanted, am I? Wanted someone who I used to be like. Now you think I'm not trying. I don't argue. It's not worth the effort to lie. Oof. Yeah, I mean, pretty self-explanatory. Just that lack of self-worth, you know. I know that I'm not what you wanted, am I? You wanted someone who I used to be like. Now, it could be self-awareness, and it could be very much awareness of the other person's feelings, but it does require an amount of self-deprecation, you know, thinking you're not worth this, that no one would want you, you know. Now, especially the line, now you think I'm not trying, I don't argue, it's not worth the effort to lie. That might just seem like it's about the relationship, but considering the context of the later lyrics, it could seem like it's talking about you don't think I'm trying to seek help or to be better in my life with mental illness or drug addiction, you know, with recovery, and it's not worth the effort to lie. She knows that she's not trying, and she's not bothered to lie about it anymore. You don't want to bring it up, and I already know how it looks. You don't have to remind me so much how I disappoint you. Oh god, that one fucking hits me as well, especially because the song is so slow and how she sings it with, you know, disappoint you. The way it's drawn out like that, it just punches you each syllable. Suggest that I talk to somebody again that knows how to help me get better. Until then, I should just try not to miss any more appointments. Now, like I said, this could be about therapy sessions. It could be about drug counseling or addiction counseling. But either way, it's about that thing of someone trying to help you, encouraging you to seek help from a professional rather than from a partner, because that is important. Obviously, partners should be supportive of your struggles, but it is important to seek out people who are trained in that. And she's just trying not to miss any more appointments. That's the little effort, the little change that she can make, is that she can try not to miss any more appointments, which is significant. I mean, it's a significant thing to commit to. There's a bit of an instrumental section. I think if I ruin this, that I know I can live with it. Oh. I was about to continue, but that line just hits me. That's so sad. It's such a resignation to the darkness, you know. I can live with this relationship failing. And that might sound like a lack of commitment to the partner, but it's really a lack of commitment to yourself. She can live with it because she doesn't deserve happiness, you know? Nothing turns out like I pictured it. Maybe the emptiness is just a lesson in canvases. It's probably my favorite line in the song. I find it really interesting. The emptiness is just a lesson in canvases. I mean, I'm sure there's a few ways you could take that. It just sounds to me like reframing dark feelings, right? Because something that people will say to people who are in a bad state, it can only get better, or something like that. Or, you know, think of how it can change from here. And she feels empty. She feels this emptiness. But maybe it's a lesson in canvases. Maybe she can turn that emptiness into something worthwhile. I love this so much. Especially, you know, paired with Nothing Turns Out Like I Pictured It. You paint a picture on a canvas. I mean, it's great. I think if I fail again, that I know you're still listening. Maybe it's going to turn out all right, and I know that it's not, but I have to believe that it is. And then in the bridge, it repeats that. I have to believe that it is. I have to believe that it is. Again, a very resigned to the darkness line. I know that it's not going to turn out all right, but I have to believe that it is. It is that small commitment. Again, like, I know that it's not going to turn out all right it's full on pessimism. It's not I think or I dread or whatever. It's I know that it's not going to turn out all right. But she knows that that is not the mindset that will help her. And so she says, I have to believe that it is. She has to believe that it will turn out all right in order to get out of that hole. And then finally you get the final section when she starts screaming it, kind of, which, as I've said before, I love when songs do that. They're relatively quiet and then it's suddenly, and when I tell you that it is. So, and when I tell you that it is, oh, it's more for my benefit. Maybe it's all going to turn out all right. Oh, I know that it's not, but I have to believe that it is. And then again, you've got her receding back into herself there. When I tell you that it is going to be all right, it's more for my benefit. You know, she's telling the other person that it's going to be all right, but she's saying it to herself because she has to believe that it is. She's not actually trying to reassure the other person. She's talking to herself. She's trying to convince herself, you know? It's a rough song because it toes that line of the total wallowing depression, but also the little bit of hopefulness in there, especially that refrain with the I have to believe that it is layering over itself with minimal instruments is the part that really stands out to me in this song because it's just so, it feels so real. I mean, like the empty canvas, it feels so empty, but there's little bits of hope with the vocals and the piano breaking through, you know? I just love that. Now, in terms of the music video, it's pretty simple to interpret in its imagery. I say that as if I'm a confident source on this. Is just my interpretation. It starts with Julien in a house, an empty house, like no furniture, and she's like sitting in a stool, but like that's the only furniture. She has a candle. She like wraps her up in a blanket and sleeps on the floor. And there's people kind of dancing around and touching her, but not when she's looking. And then she leaves the house, gets in a car and drives off, and the dancers follow her. And then she gets at a petrol station and the dancers follow her out of the car and dance around the shop. And it's clear that the dancers are supposed to represent this mental health issue, this addiction, whatever it is that's following her, this black dog, you know, following her and distracting her and always being around her. I do think it's kind of funny that like everyone else in the video is ignoring them because that's the whole point, that they're in her head. But there is a bit where one of them dances beside a woman making coffee and her hair brushes in the wind, which I enjoy. Anyway, and then at the end of the video, they come to a beach when she starts yelling the last part. They're all circled around her, and then as she finishes singing, they disappear, and she's just standing there alone looking at the sunset. And again, it's a mix of happy and sad imagery because it's a little bit pessimistic and a little bit hopeful, you know. It's an interesting mix of the two, and I really like the duality of that. I don't think I have much else to say about it. I pretty much covered it all as I talked through it. Did I have anything else in my notes? I have oof, hard relate written in all caps. There you go. Yeah. Woof. No, I love that song, and I'd like to hear what you think. Leave a comment, give a like, subscribe, all that good shit. I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.
She clearly wants to try and be better, but she just doesn't see the point. She's in this pessimistus. This is a good one for the outtakes. I sing a lot more on this show than I thought I would. Which I'm sure sounds weird, but I mean, because it is a music show. But like, anyway. But also the little bit of hopefulness in there. you know, especially that retain with a retain